Hello everyone, and welcome once again to Let's Play Skyrim. Last time when we left off, we had essentially reached the bottom of Raven Rock Mine, and this architecture that we've seen before, although not in here and not in the Nordic Barrow. Well, let's hop on down. We had reached a point of no return. First, we can open this chest. Not much in there except some gold. But, if we head up here, in addition to a few searchable Draugr, and here's Milius with an iron mace of souls. Now that's strange. But up here, in an actual camp, we have the remains of Gratian Corellius, who we were actually sent to look for. Let's search his remains as well. He has an artifact weapon called the Bloodskal Blade. Releases energy blast with power attacks that deals 30 damage. That's cool. We'll take that off of our Dragonborn artifact list. And we also have Gratian's journal. Completed. Retrieve Gratian Corellius's journal. Escape Bloodskal Barrow. Optional. Read Gratian Corellius's journal. Well, of course we're going to read the journal. Come on. So... oh wait, I almost forgot. I've located the skeletal remains of Gratian Corellius. In his satchel I've discovered an old journal. In order to return it to Cretius, I'll have to discover a way to escape Bloodskal Barrow. Let's read the journal. Completed. Optional. Read Gratian Corellius's journal. 30 Rain's Hand, 4E10. Received a letter from the East Empire Company today. They say that some of the miners broke through the wall in Shaft 3 of Raven Rock Mine and found some ruins. I hope this isn't another waste of time like that fiasco they sent me to in Cyrodiil. I'll gather my assistant Milius and sail back to Raven Rock at first light. It'll be nice to see the old house in Solstheim again. 7-second seed, 4E10. Finally arrived in Raven Rock and was surprised at the number of Dark Elf refugees living in town. They aren't really from mining stock, but I think they'll make fine workers one day. Milius and I spent a good part of the day clearing the ash off of the roof of my house. The damn volcano is still erupting almost day and night. If it wasn't for the ash covering everything, it would almost look beautiful. 8-second seed, 4E10. Milius and I are headed into Raven Rock Mine to have a look at whatever it is the miners uncovered. I think I'll stop by the old Swing and Scoop and pick up a few supplies before we head down. Couldn't hurt to be prepared. 9-second seed, 4E10. Looks like the miners broke right through the wall of an old Nordic barrow. I've seen this sort of thing in Skyrim before. Damn Nords have barrows dotting the landscape, and almost none of them are ever marked on any maps. Looks like this barrow belonged to something called the Bloodskal clan. I'm going to take some rubbings of the inscriptions on the tombs and see if I can't learn some more information from my history books. 10-second seed, 4E10. It's been a few days, and I can't find even a single mention of this clan anywhere. Milius and I decided to proceed ahead. We've come to a drop-down point, but I can see a massive chamber below. Took the better part of a day to lower everything down and climb down the almost sheer drop. 11-second seed, 4E10. It's been an astonishing day of discovery. After exploring the large chamber beyond the drop-off, I was startled to find the strangest weapon I've ever laid eyes upon sitting on a pedestal of sorts. The blade appears to be flawless, and is emitting a faint chilling glow. Bits of parchment I found about the chamber seem to call this the Bloodskal Blade. Not certain if I should remove it yet. I think I'll sleep on it. 12-second seed, 4E10. I've decided against my own better judgment to remove the Bloodskal Blade from its pedestal. Milius seems completely against it, but we need to bring this wondrous artifact with us when we find a way out of the barrow. 13-second seed, 4E10. I should have listened to Milius. The moment the blade was lifted, we were set upon by Draugr. Milius fought bravely, but he fell. I was able to destroy the remaining ones, but I was badly wounded. I can barely stand. My only chance would be finding a way out of this place, but I fear that I'm trapped. 14-second seed, 4E10. Exploring has been slow. I can only move for maybe a few minutes at a time before I have to rest. My supplies are running low, and I'm feeling weaker by the hour. The only progress I've made is finding a strange door with markings on it that I've never seen. There appears to be something to them I'm missing, as they've confounded my attempts at getting through. I'll have to study this further in order to make any progress. Barely can keep awake. I'm fairly certain that the key to the door involves the use of the Bloodskal blade. When swinging the weapon, I'm noticing a ribbon of mystical energy emanating from it. I think by swinging the sword in different directions, it's possible to manipulate this ribbon and solve whatever puzzle this door presents. I hope to get well enough to put this to the test soon. Each swing is a huge effort. Last entry. I've lost track of time and my strength is fading. I can't even stand anymore. My wounds refuse to heal. I'm afraid this tomb will become my resting place. If anyone finds this journal, please send these notes to my superiors at the East Empire Company and tell my wife that I love her. May RK guide me to my final rest. Well, there you go. So, we actually need to get out the Bloodskal blade and use our cool new artifact. So you can see the lines of energy are flowing horizontally towards the door. So based on what we read in the description of the artifact, let's do a sideways power attack. And hit it with the energy bolt. There we go. Do it on this side too. Now we've got two verticals, or standing. Just like that. Two more sideways. And one more standing. And just like that, we're out. Let's get back to our standard weaponry now. And move it right along. Let's hit this lever down at the end. Head on through the gate. And yes, there are new dragon priests as part of the expansion. They are strong, too. Let's spring open the boss chest. 2 gold. There is Zakrisos. Alright, we bagged him. Let me find his ash pile, because we certainly want his mask, Zakrisos. Increases shock resistance by 50% and shock spell damage by 25%. So, we can take Zakrisos off of our Dragonborn artifact list. Very cool. And yes, there's even a word wall. There are new shouts as part of Dragonborn as well. Let's learn the word. Word of power learned. Strength. Dragon aspect. Once a day, take on the mighty aspect of a dragon, delivering colossal blows with an armored hide and more powerful shouts. Cool. Spend the soul and favorite that for sure. And the word wall translates to All praise glorious Mirak, most powerful servant of all dragon priests, whose strength was granted by the gardener of mankind. Interesting. So we'll take that one off the shout list. 2 words left to go, of course. And we'll move on. Oh wait, and we also cleared the location. Raven Rock Mine, of course. So the death of Zakrisos, we've cleared that location. I'll take it off the clearable locations list accordingly. There we go. Outstanding. Let's move on. Oh yes, there's much more to do. We still aren't done, not even with this dungeon. What? Didn't we just kill the boss? Oh, you might think so. But you'd be wrong. Behold. A black book. Hear the sound. See the little black wafts coming out of it. This one is The Winds of Change by Liesl Greyheart. Surprise, it's not actually a readable book.
I know you, champion. The Agma Inferior was only the beginning. This is Apocrypha, where all knowledge is hoarded. Saint your thirst for knowledge in the endless stacks of my library. If you tire of the search, read your book again to return to your mortal life. For a time, the lure of Apocrypha will call you back. It is your fate.
Started. Black Book, The Winds of Change. Learn the Black Book's hidden knowledge. So when you find a black book, and there are several, they become an inventory item you can carry with you. And rather than being actual books, obviously they serve as portals to and from Apocrypha. You want to solve the dungeon in order to solve the quest, but you can leave at any time by rereading the book. Naturally, though, we're just going to do it. Black Book, The Winds of Change. I read the black book called The Winds of Change and found myself in Hermaeus Mora's realm of Apocrypha. I should uncover the knowledge hidden here, or read the book again to escape. Oh, duh. So be careful walking near that water's edge. Those tentacles will fuck you up. And I am not kidding. Even at level 252, they do absurd amounts of damage. Now when you're in Apocrypha, if there are any spell tomes or lore books you haven't found yet, Apocrypha is, rather unsurprisingly, a great place to find them. So make sure you look around. There are a lot of ruined books, but for the first time, we can actually fight Seekers as enemies, rather than as summons, like they were when we were still fighting Mirak's cultists back on the mainland. Let's search the remains of the Seeker, because you can see they drop rare books. We happen to have read the old ways, and they also drop spell tomes. So this is really where I'm hoping we'll catch up on all the books and spell tomes we haven't found yet. Oh yeah, you can find soul gems lying around too. Less exciting, but still there. Ah, look, spell tome, Conjure Seeker. New spell learned, Conjure Seeker. Now that particular spell only exists inside the Dragonborn expansion, obviously, but nonetheless, it's good to find. Absolutely. So we'll take that one off the spell list. Song of the Eskelda Men, Poison Song, Book 7. We've read all those. There's Ngasta Kavada Kavakis, which we've read. Wolf Queen v6, which we've also read. And here is what we use to open doors and get around. A scry. Use one, and the door opens up. I'm going to try not to agitate that seeker until I'm actually in range of him. We'll see how that goes for me, of course. Font of Magicka. You'll find all 3 varieties of fonts here in Apocrypha. They basically just beef up the regeneration rate for whatever attributes you're talking about until, you know, you exhaust using them. So there's another scry, which opens up this door, and now we can reach that seeker. Now those little puddles will almost always have tentacles that attack you, so be careful. There's Arcana Restored and a treatise on Aliatic cities. We happen to have read both of those as well, but you can see they're dropping rare books, which is awesome. Here's another scry. Let's move on. Now this one is pretty straightforward, but when you get to a big pool like that, you'll typically have to fight one of these Lovecraftian horrors known as a lurker. Oh wow. That was fun. Not sure what the fuck to do with him now that he's way the hell out there. I guess we just have to ignore him. Let's hit the other scries. Not even sure where he landed. I guess he landed back. Oh, there he is. Alright. So this first taste of Apocrypha is pretty easy. We're already more or less done. But they obviously, or at least I'd hope it would be obvious, get much longer and much more difficult to deal with. Oh, we got some spell scrolls here. That's never that exciting. Words and Philosophy is a two-handed skill book, remember. We've already read it. Well, that appears to be it. You can't... These areas are neither discoverable nor clearable, but you can always come back into them by carrying the book, which is always fun. Anyway, when you do get to the end, you'll find a vessel, which is basically a boss chest. It's got Bone Part 1, Confessions of a Dunmer Skooma Eater, Souls Black and White. I think we've actually read all of those books. And a couple Poison songs. And some other good stuff too. But the real cool bit is when you read the actual black book at the end. Completed, Black Book, The Winds of Change. So that comes off the quest list. And you get to select one of 3 abilities. Let's see what our options are. Scholar's Insight. Reading skill books gives you an extra skill point. Well, that's useless. We're maxed. Companion's Insight. Your attacks, shouts, and destruction spells do no damage to your followers. Well, I'm not using any followers. Lover's Insight. Do 10% more damage and get 10% better prices from people of the opposite sex. That one still helps, so that's the one we'll take. Lover's Insight added. And then we can use the book to transport ourselves back to Solstheim. I uncovered the hidden knowledge contained in the Black Book, The Winds of Change. Cool. Back to Solstheim we go. And we'll reappear right where we first read the book. And actually, people have transcribed the text on the first 2 pages. I mean, if you open the book, you'll teleport again, so I don't want to do that. But the text of The Winds of Change they only bothered typing out the first 2 pages, but it's The Winds of Change by Liesl Greyheart. During the reign of Elgrir, I took notice the various patterns in the thoughts and behaviors of a troubled populace, and undertook a humble plan to comprehend and in the end affect them. Being of ordered mind, I began my taxonomy in the lower classes, which divide evenly into those who... and that's it. So, let's keep trucking through the mine. Let's make sure not to miss the real boss chest, rather than the 2 gold ones Zakrisos taunted us with. Let's head up these stairs, where we will emerge into a discreet dungeon called Bloodskal Barrow. We're going to fight Solstheim bandits, which are called Reavers, but are substantially stronger, because even the lower level flavors are geared out much better. We'll just be ready. Let's hit the pull chain to activate that secret door.
I should go back to picking pockets and windows. Easy on them, less chance of an accident.
Reaver Marauder. Reaver Lord. And so with that, prior to discovering it, we have cleared Bloodskal Barrow. That's fun. We'll take it off the clearable locations list, of course. And let's look around in here. Nothing too terribly important. We'll want to search the Reaver Lord we just killed, of course. Check all the books. Make sure we're not missing anything. And search the boss chest, where we can finally find Carjo's Moon Amulet. Completed. Find the Moon Amulet inside Bloodskal Barrow. Return the Moon Amulet to Carjo. That's almost sweet in a way. We'll do it, of course. There's another copy of Deathbrand. We just need to make our way out of the barrow first. You can see they seem to be doing something with the Draugr here. Burning them, from what we can see, which actually makes sense. If you've got corpses that are in the habit of reanimating, you should dispose of the corpses. Look at these Reavers actually using logic. Deductive reasoning. That's probably why they haven't been murdered by the Draugr yet. Too bad they wound up running afoul of me. Let's see, these are presumably victims. Let's just head up and out. We'll immediately discover Bloodskal Barrow, and we'll want, of course, to explore the exterior before we travel back. Bloodskal Barrow discovered. There it is. Completed. Escape Bloodskal Barrow. Return to Crescius Corellius. After locating the remains of Gratian Corellius, recovering his journal, and escaping Bloodskal Barrow, I should bring the evidence of my discovery to Cretius Corellius. Sure. So we are at the end of a pretty long, winding chain of, we got reavers everywhere, obviously. Chitin armor around. It's nice to see that after playing Morrowind. It's like, oh yeah.
There's someone there.
It's its own story, but there's some continuity here. I like that. Trap is a new book that we have not read yet. Let's read it and take it off the list. It's another one that did appear in Morrowind. Didn't make it into Skyrim pre-expansion, but now it's here. Trap by Anonymous. I saw the gold and I took it. A different man might not have, I know that. And from time to time I think back on the hour when I saw the gold and took it. You see, I was hungry. Isn't it ironic? I don't remember much else about that night but the gold and the hunger. I don't remember the name of the tavern or even the village, but I believe it was somewhere in southern Vardenfell. I can't really be certain. For some time I sat dumbly in my chair, my mind occupied with nothing but the pain in my stomach. If you've never been truly hungry from days of no food, you can't know what it's like. You can't concentrate on anything. It wasn't until a figure to my left got up from the table to get a drink and left a stack of gold marks behind that I snapped to awareness. From this moment on, my memory is crystalline. My eyes to the gold, my eyes to the stranger's back, walking calmly toward the barmaid. My hand to the gold in my pocket. I'm up from the table and out the door. For just a moment I look back. The stranger has turned to look my way. He wears a hood, but I can feel his eyes meet mine. I swear I can sense a smile. Out into the street and behind some barrels I crouched down, waiting for my pursuer. One benefit of a lifetime running from guards, I know how to disappear. For nearly an hour I waited there, suffering even more from hunger. You see, I was awake now, and I had the means to buy myself a feast. The knowledge tortured me. When I finally got to my feet, I very nearly fainted. I had only enough energy to walk to the other side of the village to a run-down tavern before collapsing at a table. I think I must have fallen unconscious for a moment before I heard the barmaid's voice. "Can I get you something to eat, Sarah?" I gorged myself on roasts and pies, and huge frothing mugs of grief. As the fog of near-fatal starvation began to lift, I looked up from my plate to see a gold-masked stranger looking at me, his vizard glowing by the blinding light of the moon through the window. He wore black leather armor and was a different physique and size from the man I had burgled, but I could tell he knew. I paid for my meal quickly and left. I skirted the edge of the village through a tiled central courtyard surrounded by the squalid peasants' cottages. There was not a light shining from any window or door. No one was on the streets. I could find no place to hide, so I took the road out of town, heading for the wilderness. Hunger had pushed me on in the days before, but now I felt what I imagined to be the whip of guilt, or perhaps even then it was fear. I fell twice, rushing down the dark path, unused to the slopes and pebbled texture. The sounds of animal life, which I had numbed to, were suddenly very loud in my ears. There was something else out there in the night, something chasing me. On the side of the road there was a low wall, and I scrambled over it and hid. I knew enough about concealment to pick a spot where the bulwark sunk slightly, so even if someone saw the outline of my figure, he would assume it to be part of the wall. It wasn't long before I heard the sound of running footsteps from more than one person pass me by and then stop. There was a moment of whispered conversation, and one of the people ran back on the path toward the village. Then silence. After a few more minutes, I peered out from behind the wall. A female figure in a dun gown, wimple, and veil stood in the road. On the other end of the road, blocking the way back to town, was a knight, coated in dark mail. I could see neither of their faces. For a moment I froze, unsure whether either or both had seen me. "Run," said the woman in a dead voice. The hill behind me was too steep, so I leapt over the wall and across the road in 2 bounds. Into the night forest I ran, the maddening jingle of the accursed gold in my pocket. I knew I was making so much noise my pursuers could not help but hear me, but now I cared more for putting distance between us than in stealth. Clouds of ash filtered through the moonlight, but I still knew it was too bright to hide. I ran and ran until I felt all my blood pumping in my head and heart, begging me to stop. I was at the edge of the wood on the other side of a shallow stream from a vast, crumbling house encircled by a rail fence. Behind me, running footfall in the broken, dusty earth. To the south, downstream, a distinct sodden splashing of someone moving nearer. There was no choice. I half jumped and half fell into the mud and dragged myself up the bank on the other side. I rolled under the fence and ran through the open field toward the house. Jerking my head around, I saw 7 shadowy figures by the fence posts. The cloaked man I had robbed, the man in the gold mask, the veiled woman, the dark knight, 3 others too who had pursued me but I had never seen. And I thought I was the stealthy one. The moon was entirely hidden in a swarm of ash. Only the stars offered their meager illumination as I reached the open door of the ruin. I slammed and bolted the door behind me, but I knew there could be no protection for very long. As I looked about the ravaged interior of broken furniture, I searched for someone to hide, a corner, a niche where if I stayed very still, no one would see me. A splintered table lying against the wall looked perfect for my purposes. I crawled under it and jumped when something moved, and I heard a frightened old man's voice. "Who's there?" "It's all right," I whispered. "I'm not one of them." His puckered, gnarled hand reached out from the shadow and gripped my arm. Instantly I felt sleep fall upon me, resisted as I might. The old man's horrible face, the face of the hungry dead, emerged as the moon came out and shone through the broken window. His talons still gripping me, I fell back, smelling his death surround me. The table was thrown back. There stood the 7 hunters and a dozen more. No, hunters they weren't. They were harriers who had chased me out of every hiding place, expertly pushing me to the lair of the real predator. He was weak with age, the old man was, not as good at the chase as once he was. A blunt killing machine. "Please," I said. It was all I could muster. Having enjoyed the sport I offered, he granted me mercy of sorts. I was not bled dry. I was not cursed by being made one of them, the burn. I was kept with others, most of us mad with fear, to be aged and tasted at the vampire's whim. We are called cattle. I lost all hope months ago of ever leaving the dank cellar where they keep us. Even if this note finds its way to the outside world, I cannot give enough information about my whereabouts to be rescued, even if some champion were able to defeat the bloodsuckers. I only write this to keep my own sanity and to warn others. There is something worse than being hungry. Being food.
Nothing here after all.
Dunmer outfit. I like that. Let's just head up and through and over these catwalks, making our way around and down the way they obviously intended. Now if you come to this place from the outside rather than through the mine, obviously you won't be able to open the secret door in the back to where Zakrisos and the Black Book were. It would just seem like a standard little bandit lair. Anyway, here is a scrawled note, which we can read and take off our book list. "Look, Marin, I'm not arguing that these towers are falling to pieces, but I think you are exaggerating about the planks falling out." How funny. No way out of here. I got turned around somewhere, I guess.
Told him to just hand it over. But did he listen? Oh no. He had to fight back.
Ah, here we go. I like how the waves... Well, I like how the water actually makes waves against the coast in this one. You'll recall it didn't do that on the mainland. There we go. Alright, onward, downward. Another chest. Golden lockpicks, exciting stuff. We can go up, or we can stay down. Let's go up first.
Picking pockets and window. Easy money.
There's the plunderer we killed. Got him too. Looks like we got at least one more. Yep. Way up there. Almost unreachable. Actually. You wonder if you're even really supposed to get up there that way. I'm guessing not. I guess he gets to live by virtue of being too tough to reach. Now, ordinarily I'd just fast travel back, but there are netch over here and I still need to harvest some jelly. So we'll take a quick walk back to the Earthstone and to Raven Rock. Oh, maybe not all the way. Maybe we'll just deal with these netch and then call it good. There's a bull. A Betty. And a calf. 3 up, 3 down. So let's search the bodies. There's 4 jelly. There's 5 jelly. Completed, retrieve netch jelly for Milorianth. Bring the netch jelly to Milorianth. And now we can eat one. And learn the effects. Paralysis, fortify carry weight, restore stamina, and fear. With that, we've learned every single alchemy effect in the game. And I can actually delete the list. Alright, very good. Now, I know I said I wanted to minimize travel back to the mainland, and I do, but we should go complete Carjo's quest. And netch jelly is off the gear list now. 4 Stalrim and 50 Reekling Spears, and then we'll be done. Where is Carjo? He goes between Riften and Dawnstar. Looks like right now he's at Riften. Which means I'm probably better off going to Dawnstar. Given the distance we'll need to travel in order to reach him. Let's wait an hour at a time. Usually works pretty well. Yeah, they're on the move, so... yeah, perfect. You hostile? Nope, just a flyby. And here is Carjo.
This Khajiit guards the others.
I have your amulet.
There it is. Ah, home. If you ever need the skills of a Khajiit warrior by your side, I would be honored to travel with you. Until then, here. This is for you. In thanks.
1,500 gold added, moon amulet removed, completed, return the moon amulet to Carjo, which finally completes my final quest on the mainland, Amulet of the Moon. Now, since... Oh.
May your road lead you to warm sands.
Now, let's just pop back to Solstheim.
Captain Gallen does the business around here. I'm just a ship's mate.
Sure, sure. We got some stuff to hand back in.
Why you're leading Cretius on, I'll never understand. Be careful out there.
So we can chat with Milore, give her the 5 netch jelly and complete that quest.
If you're looking for any exotic ingredients, just ask. I might have what you need.
I have that netch jelly for you.
Goodness, it must have been quite difficult tracking those creatures down out there. Here, take these. They should help you during your journeys.
2 potions of ultimate well-being. Cool. Anyway, that quest is called Fetch the Netch. Now it's done. Let's see what these do. Restore 100 points of each. Not bad. Let's sell our...
I'd be on the first ship off this island if I had the coin. What a waste.
Let's sell the 2 pendants from the mine to
As
Fethys.
long as you keep bringing them, I'll keep buying them. If you need any supplies, you know where to find me.
Let's go chat with Cretius now to complete the final descent.
Can I help you?
You were right all along. Give journal.
Let me see that. Huh, I knew it. Gratian's death wasn't because of a rock fall. It was just a story to keep people away from the tombs. Now that I have his journal in hand, I can get some closure from the East Empire Company. Make them pay for lying to everyone.
Good luck with that.
Thank you. Now, I believe I owe you a little more than a debt of gratitude for all that work you did. Here, it's not much, but it's the best an old retired miner can do.
750 gold added. Completed the final descent. So we'll take it off the quest list. And are there any other Imperials in Raven Rock?
Those cowards left decades ago. Every single damned one of them. The moment the ebony mine dried up, they pulled up stakes. Ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Why?
Solstheim is still rich in ebony ore. I know there's more down there. I can smell it. I come from 3 generations of miners, and I'm telling you that the East Empire Company was wrong. They just didn't want to spend the coin trying to find it.
Tell me about your family.
Our home has stood in Raven Rock since the colony was founded. Grayson helped build it with his own 2 hands. After Grayson died, he left behind a wife and a son. My grandfather, Relicus. Relicus lived there for quite a long time, working in the other sections of the mine until he was slain by Reavers.
And your parents?
I never knew my father. My mother and I always lived alone. I asked her about him many times, but she seemed angry and refused to speak about him. So eventually, I let it go. When I was old enough, I began working in the mine, hoping to make my fortune and eventually move to the Imperial City.
Then it dried up.
Unfortunately, yes. I only had enough coins saved to send one of us back to the Imperial City. So I sent my mother alone. I wanted her to see her homeland before she died.
And you've been alone ever since?
Until I met my darling Aphia, yes. I suppose you could have called me a bitter old hermit. Now I'm just old.
Alright, fair enough. So let's get
Mark my words, Raven Rock isn't finished yet.
Let's see if he's got one-liners.
There was a time when this town meant something. Now it's all gone. For all I know, I might be the last Imperial left on Solstheim. If it wasn't for my wife Aethia, I'd have joined my ancestors long ago. Maybe I won't live as long as the Dark Elves, but at least I didn't abandon my home. Well, hello.
Alright. Let's go chat with Aethia, just because I think she'll have a new dialogue now that that quest is done.
May want to give the Telmithran a wide berth. I don't like the looks of that place one bit.
Final descent. I've located Gratian Corellius's remains and uncovered the truth regarding his untimely death deep inside Bloodskal Barrow. Now all my miscellaneous quests are on Solstheim too. That's good. That's good. I think Aethia is inside the Retching Netch. That's something...
This is House Redoran territory.
Something else has happened as a result of completing that quest. The mine...
You got a problem, you talk to him.
The mine has opened up.
You got a good thing going here now that you've reopened the mines. Don't let it go to waste.
Let's see. Everybody's in here. Except Aethia.
Back from the brink, traveler. I don't know how to thank you.
Adro, a word, please.
Glover Mallory's the name.
The moment.
If you're looking for a
Why
smith,
hasn't a Redoran
you
guard
found one of the
been posted
best.
at my shop, like I've requested?
You and I both know we can't spare anyone right now.
Welcome to the Retching Netch Corner Club, my lord.
Maybe Aethia went into the mines.
That's what you need.
And the mine is worth checking out now that it's reopened. That's because there are 4 new people to talk to, 4 miners who spawn in once the final descent is completed. Well, it doesn't look like this is where Aethia wound up, but I can hear the new miners working, so let's get down and chat with them at least. And sure enough, you can find Ebony in here now, too. And iron as well, I think. Here's Neris Mavani.
There's nothing quite like the sound of metal striking rock. Thanks to House Redoran getting these mines reopened, I can provide for my family again. Getting your hands dirty, Outlander. Nice to be making some coin again. Getting your hands dirty, Outlander.
Here's Medin Marin.
Thanks to House Redoran getting these mines reopened, I can provide for my family again.
He's got the same dialogue. Let's see if we can find the other 2. Now you can see these ebony ore veins have reactivated. And apparently, at some point, I missed a spider. Ah, yes. Now, Gratian's letter is no longer a quest item, so we can get rid of it, which is nice. Holding on to all that for a reason. Same with all that, so we're fine. Anyway, no need to actually go deeper. Just a little surprised, number 1, that there are only 2 in here. I suppose the other 2 might be over at the Earthstone. That actually may be where Aphia went too. Let's wait until daytime, just so I can be certain. Because I'd like to just be done with all this and move along, you know. Well, that was just a case of being too far away. Actually see anything. Evil Saloth. Yep, we hadn't seen him before.
Help yourself to as much ore as you like. You've earned it. Getting your hands dirty, Outlander?
That's 3 out of 4. Where's the last guy? I guess he was in here by himself. Wasn't a matter of range. Yeah, looks like it's just him. That's fine. I'm sure I can track down the last one. And Aphia as well. Oh, here they all are. Ben Marin, Tolenos Omoran. He is the 4th one. He's got nothing I need either.
Getting your hands dirty, Outlander?
There's Aphia, so we can chat with her too.
Don't be put off by my husband's mood. He enjoys having visitors. It's been tough running the household alone, but Precious isn't getting any younger. Those East Empire people should be ashamed of themselves for abandoning Raven Rock. Good morning.
Alright, there we go.
Yes?
I think we missed a single line from her. I'll pull it up right quick. In the meantime, though, we're ready to head out and start actually exploring the island. Let's head off to the south. Very close by, you can see a farm symbol. That's where we're heading first. Here's the captain of the guard, Modin Velith, being attacked by Ashspawn. We should probably help him. Started. March of the Dead. Kill the Ashspawn attacking Captain Velith. Old Adius Farm discovered. First, let me take Old Adius Farm off the discoverable locations list. And let's read the journal for this quest. March of the Dead. I've stumbled across a dark elf in combat for his life with strange ashen beings at the Adius Farm outside of Raven Rock. He appears outnumbered and he's requested I lend him a helping hand. Oh, sure. Completed. Kill the Ashspawn attacking Captain Velith. Speak to Captain Velith. I've stumbled across Captain Modin Velith fighting strange beings called Ashspawn at the Adius Farm outside of Raven Rock. Captain Velith was outnumbered, so I engaged his attackers and lent him a helping hand. Here's a dead Redoran guard. It's unfortunate, but you can see the bone mold armor.
Thanks. I wasn't sure I'd make it off this farm alive. I wish I could have said the same for my man here.
What were those things?
Some of the Redoran Guard have taken to calling them Ashspawn. Me, I don't care what they're called. All I know is they're a danger to Raven Rock and they need to be stopped.
How did that bring you to this old farm?
I'm going to search for clues that might lead me to wherever they're coming from. I know it isn't the best place to start, but we know they've been coming from this direction.
I'd be glad to lend you a hand.
Good. I can use all the help I can get. Besides, I don't feel comfortable leaving Raven Rock behind, and I'd hate to lose any more Redoran Guard.
Very well. Where do I begin?
We were searching the farm when the Ashspawn ambushed us. Have a look around and see if you can turn up anything useful.
Completed. Speak to Captain Veleth. Search the Adius farm for clues. What are these Ashspawn?
No one knows, really. Superstitious folks say they're the risen forms of those that died long ago, but I'm not so certain. They started attacking the bulwark a few weeks ago. My men were able to kill them, but they keep coming back.
How often do they attack?
We've had 2 other assaults on the bulwark, at different spots on the wall. I know it sounds crazy, but it's almost like they're becoming more organized and probing it for weaknesses.
You suspect there's a motivation to their attacks?
Exactly. Something has to be directing them against us, and we need to find out who or what it is.
Do you know someone called Mirak?
I might know someone, or maybe not. I can't remember.
Just tell me if you know him.
I can't. I just can't be sure. I think maybe he had something to do with a temple. A temple here on the island. Does that help?
Why do you think the attacks are from the Adius farm?
I don't. All I know is that the Ashspawn are coming from this direction, so this is as good a place to start as anywhere else. Good thing the farm's been abandoned for a long time. I'd hate to see what they would do to an unarmed farmer and his family.
How long has the farm been abandoned?
Not sure. I was told it was an old Imperial farm that was wiped out by the eruption of the Red Mountain. Not certain who lived there. It was already a pile of rubble when I arrived in Raven Rock.
How are things now that the mines are open again?
I've had to muster some more men to protect the mine, but I don't really have a problem with that. Second Councillor Arano is concerned that once word reaches the Reavers that the mine has reopened, they might think about paying us a visit. I say let them try. My men are ready for them. Report back to me if you discover anything unusual. There has to be a clue around here somewhere. Report back to me if you discover anything unusual.
Alright. So, on this one you can find a declaration of war. Completed, search the Adius farm for clues, give the note to Captain Veleth. While assisting Captain Veleth at the Adius farm, I've discovered a strange note. I should give this note to Captain Veleth in order to learn more about the origins of the Ashspawn threat to Raven Rock. Let's read this and take it off the list. Raven Rock Stronghold. My calls for the unconditional surrender of your forces and an immediate cessation of all hostilities has been ignored numerous times. I therefore have no choice but to assume your purpose on Solstheim is hostile, and to treat Raven Rock Stronghold as an enemy of the Empire. I warn you, any attempt to breach Fort Frostmoth will be met with an equal level of aggression. I will do everything in my power to wipe you and your forces off the face of Tamriel. There will be no further communications between us. General Falx Carius, Garrison Commander, Fort Frostmoth. Carius was a main character in the Blood Moon expansion to Morrowind, but he was just an Imperial, and that was over 2 centuries ago. How interesting.
Have you found something?
I discovered this note on one of the Ashspawn.
This is strange. The note says it's from General Falx Carius, but that's impossible.
Impossible? Why?
Well, Carius was the Imperial garrison commander at Fort Frostmoth, but he died over 200 years ago when the Red Mountain leveled the place. There's no way he could still be alive.
What do you want me to do?
If General Carius is still alive, there must be something keeping him that way. I need you to head out to Fort Frostmoth and check it out. I'm gonna head back to Raven Rock and prepare the men for further assaults.
Completed. Give the note to Captain Veleth. Kill General Falx Carius.
Be careful. This General Curious sounds out of his mind. Modin Veleth, Captain of the Redoran Guard, at your service. The security of both Raven Rock and Councillor Morvain is my primary concern. Don't let my posting here fool you. I was once in command of over 100 troops. My luck simply changed when our homeland was destroyed. Some consider my methods harsh, but playing the coddling nursemaid has never won a battle.
Fair enough. Captain Veleth was alarmed by the strange note I recovered from the ash spawn at the Adius farm. The note mentions Fort Frostmoth, the ruins of an Imperial fort located southeast of Raven Rock. According to him, the fort's been abandoned ever since the eruption of Red Mountain. He sent me to Fort Frostmoth to kill the author of the note, General Falx Carius, before the town falls prey to his threats.
This General Curious sounds out of his mind.
Alright, now before we leave, let's check out the Adius farm. Not much here, just a burnt-out farmhouse. Let's head up here. We've got a quest arrow pointing us there after all. This is Completionist Barrow. We'll have to come back here multiple times to finish the quest. It's always fun, though. We'll roll over here. Oh. Ash Hopper. So this is how you get chitin, by killing these things. And they've got meat and ash hopper jelly as well. Just in case you were wondering. Okay. Here we have discovered Completionist Barrow. You can take it off the discoverable locations list, of course. And naturally, we should visit with the fellow here, Raelus Sidaris. He has a unique pickaxe called Hoarfrost, which I'm going to go ahead and steal from him and take off the unique items list. Alright. We've got not much to this barrow from what I can see. There's a journal here. The Journal of Raelus Sidaris, Volume 19. Let's read that and take it off the book list. The Journal of Raelus Sidaris, Volume 19. Moving on to Solstheim next, chasing after vague rumors of this Completionist Barrow. My patron seems confident we can find the relics of Azidal out here. I'm a bit skeptical, but so long as he pays well, I'll dig wherever the old coot likes. Initial prospects look poor, to say the least. I was sure I had my map wrong at first, until it became clear that the place had just been lost to the ash. I'll dig out as much as I can, maybe see if I can recruit some of the local residents to help me out. I haven't seen anyone since I got out of Raven Rock, but I keep hearing conversations and whispers around me, so I just need to track them down. Interesting. Let's talk with him.
Yes, Sirrah? Now, if you'll excuse me. Just leave me be. Sirrah? Yes, Sirrah?
I heard you were starting an expedition.
Who told you that? Was it Galdis? I told that idiot not to send me anymore. It probably can't hurt to tell you. You look mostly honest. The name's Raelus. Raelus Sidaris, out of Moorhold. I've got a financier waiting for me back on the mainland. Sent me here in the interests of obtaining some rare antiquities. The relics of Azidal. But this whole thing became a disaster right quick, let me tell you.
What happened?
You come out of the northern ashlands, you don't expect things to go easy, you know. But this was something outside my particular expertise. When I first got to Completionist, you couldn't even see it. buried in the ash, like most other things on this blasted island. Dug out a pile of the stuff taller than me just to find the barrow. Who knows how much to reach the door? Excavating isn't exactly my specialty. Even if it was, the ash storms fill it in faster than you can dig.
Why not hire some of the miners out of Raven Rock?
You think I've got that kind of money? No, I only get paid on delivery. Can't afford to go out of pocket for 1,000 septims on this. Takes money to make money, all that rot. There's a lot of it at the other end, but I can't get there without a little kick to start it off.
Completed, speak to Rallis Sedaris at Kolbjorn Barrow. Completed, investigate Kolbjorn Barrow. Started, unearthed. Fund the excavation of Kolbjorn Barrow, 1,000 gold. So what's this treasure you were after?
You ever hear of Azadal? He was the first great Nord enchanter, maybe even the first human to master elven methods. His best work was buried with him, though. A set that my patron calls the relics are supposed to be down in his tomb. Now, they're old, and they're powerful. A combination like that makes them pretty valuable to certain people, and I happen to know certain people.
I've got some money. Are you looking for a partner?
What? Are you serious? Well, I think I could make that work. We can sort out the details of our little arrangement later. But for now, I'll manage the dig if you can manage the coin. Do you have the gold?
Of course. 1,000 gold.
It's all here. Well then, looks like I have a good bit of work to start on. I'll head back to Raven Rock and round up some diggers. Once we've got something worth looking at, I'll send word to you. Pleasure doing business with you, partner. I'll see you soon.
Completed, fund the excavation of Kolbjorn Barrow. Wait for a message from Rallis. Rallis Sedaris came to Solstheim in search of the relics of Azadal, powerful items said to have been sealed in Kolbjorn Barrow, but found it buried by ash. I agreed to fund his expedition to excavate the barrow. He set to work, saying he'd send a courier when he had progress to report.
Look, this can be a slow business. Digging takes time. Come around later and I'll have something more interesting to show. Look, this
All
can
right.
be a slow business.
Now we've got plenty more to do, but we've been going for an hour. So, for the moment, we're going to end this video here. This has been Let's Play Skyrim. Next time, we're going to head south of here to that shipwreck we can see. It is, in fact, the wreck of the Strident Squall, where the folio that Sindiri Arano sent us after is housed. And after that, we'll head over toward Fort Frostmoth for the March of the Dead quest. Until then, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy my videos, please consider clicking an ad, liking, sharing, or subscribing, any or all of which really help me out. Regardless, please know that I really do appreciate the time you spend watching, and hope you have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.